Hello, friends. Today is May the 16th, 2019, the 16th of May, 2019. And today I would like to talk about um, Buddhism, Chan Buddhism, or Zen Buddhism. As we all know, this is a very distinguished practice of Buddhism that was established long time ago, actually practiced in Japan and China. The Japanese call it Zen, the Chinese call it Chan. And I would like to talk today about this form of Buddhism. It's a very brilliant kind of Buddhism, and a lot of people sort of misconstrue it. People who are not very familiar with Buddhism, they really don't know what it is. They think people just sit down there like idols, like sculptures, and sit there just facing the wall doing, nothing. Or we don't know what they're doing. But I would like to go down into what these people are doing. You really watch these movies, these Asian movies, and you see these great masters. They sit down there in contemplation, and you wonder, what are these people doing? Are they just sitting down? Are they doing something? Thinking about something? Do they just sit down and try to become like, sculpted works? Do they just sit down and try to become like moldings or idols or stones or rocks? Or you just look at these people and you don't know what their minds are going through or what is going through their minds. And today I would like this to be the topic of my discussion. I would like to actually talk about Chan Buddhism. Buddhism often, of course, these are the great writings, the works of our Grandmaster Singyun. Singyun, I've talked about Singyun in my previous lectures. He's one of the greatest Buddhist personalities living today in our time. He is the founder of Buddhism in Africa. He brought the first temple of Buddhism and to Africa, and he started a mighty temple, Nanhua Temple in Bronkhorstpoort, South Africa. Master Singyun is very prominent. He's built like 7 universities all over the world, in Philippines, in his home country, Taiwan, China, United States, Australia. He's been all over the world building universities, over 200 temples and thousands of monks and nuns. Master Singyun, you can compare him to like great Christian personalities, like Saint John Paul. Pope John Paul became a saint. You can compare him to personalities like that. And he actually met Pope John Paul quite a few times in the Vatican. Dalai Lama also. These are huge Buddhist authorities. So this oracle or repository of wisdom is drawn from Master Singyun's teachings. My task as a Buddhist scholar and researcher has been to try to I've spent many years, decades of my life, actually about 20 years, studying Chinese and Buddhism. And I've studied Qing Kong, I've studied these great masters, Qing Kong, Master Singyun. And what I'm doing currently, what you see in these videos, is like a commentary. I'm actually commenting on original oracles, original wisdom from these grandmasters. That has been my task as the leading Nigerian Buddhist, one of the first Buddhists in line. I don't know of any other Buddhist authority in Nigeria. I think I'm the first Buddhist authority in Nigeria. I don't know of any other. So I've studied this for years. I've studied this for decades. And what I'm trying to do here is to try to bring, I know Nigeria, my country of home, my country of origin, has large populations of Christians and large populations of Muslims. Now, in my family, I have both. I have both Christian and Muslim heritage in my family. For instance, my father's father was Christian, and then when he became polygamous, he was a Muslim. He had many wives. He was a huge justice on Eastern land. My grandfather on my dad's side. And then my grandfather on my mom's side was a huge Catholic. He was exposed to a lot of Irish priests, and they established Catholicism in my mother's place where they were from. So it was, very close to a lot of Irish Reverend Fathers. So on my mom's side, we have this Christianity, great Christianity. On my dad's side, we have Christianity mixed with Islam. And my dad was Muslim for a while. He practiced, my parents are Catholic, but my grandparents sort of had this religious diversity that you will see in lots of families in Nigeria. So I'm sort of like Barack Obama, the previous president of the United States. I'm like, connected to both. Barack Obama's father was a Muslim. Barack Obama's mother was a Christian. So he had both traditions. He was very familiar with Islam and with Christianity. Now that happened to be on the grandparents level. My grandfather on my father's side was a Muslim and mixed with traditional practices. And then my grandfather on my mom's side was Christian, Catholic to the end. So I have both of these. And of course, when I came to the United States of America, I studied Buddhism in Houston, Texas, the Chinese temple, Silai Temple, and the Vietnamese Institute, where I studied in depth Buddhism over a decade of my life. So I spent about 20 years total learning Chinese and Vietnamese Buddhism. I really studied them in great detail from authorities in Texas and some of the big temples you can find in America. Then I was in California for a while, and I studied there the largest temple in the whole North America, Silai, and studied at Chinese Buddhism. So I'm very vast in Chinese and Vietnamese Buddhism traditions. And of course, Master Hsing Yun is the great master that established this university, Silai University, which currently is now called University of the West in California. I've been to all those places. And currently, I would like to, my work is trying to now take Buddhism, which I know a lot of Nigerians are not familiar with, which I've really had the privilege to study for over 20 years in the United States, try to bring it in terms that Nigerians can understand. This has really been my challenge for quite a while. So I try to take Buddhism and try to bring it into particularly Christian perspective. It's closer to Christianity than it would be to Islam. So I try to use Christianity, Christian perspectives, Jesus Christ, and his teachings and his law of love of your neighbor as you love yourself. Buddha extends that law of Jesus Christ to animals. Okay, Jesus Christ leaves us the command that we should love our neighbors as we love ourselves. Jesus Christ tried to teach love, and he even extended it as far as enemies. But in Buddhism, the Buddha extended this to even cover animals. Love all beings, and grow the world from love, intrinsic love. So my work here is commentary, technically. As an African authority of Buddhism, I try to take these Buddhist teachings from the Chinese authorities who I learned it from, and now try to bring it into terms as an African authority, as an African who has studied this thing for decades, who has gained understanding and enlightenment, knowing exactly what the Buddha wants done here, knowing exactly what Christ wants done. You've studied these things, reflected a lot, and my idea now is to teach those Nigerians who wish to follow my teachings, and some Americans who would like to follow my teachings. As a Nigerian American, which I am, born in the United States of Nigerian parents, both heritages. So my job here is to try to really bring Buddhism down to the level of Nigerians, Nigerian Americans, and others who wish to try to learn Buddhism from my experience and from my knowledge. So I'll be interpreting Master Hsing Yun. This is a very great work. He has like hundreds of them, of these oracles. And I'll be taking these oracles and I'll be writing commentaries. And I'll be publishing commentaries that I've written on Master Hsing Yun's oracle. So you have the oracle, and I'm a commentator. Having studied this for decades, having gained knowledge, know exactly what Master Hsing Yun is talking about, know exactly what the Buddha is talking about. And then for my children, for the next generation, we try to teach you folks, to try to get you folks to understand what Buddhism is based on my understanding, my learning, my practice, my experience, and now my writings of Buddhism. So here, Master Hsing Yun talks about Chan, okay, which is Zen, which originates from Japan and from China and Japan. It was greatly developed in Japan by great masters like Dogen Zenji. Those are fantastic names you see in Chan Buddhism. You still have Master Huineng in China, They really worked on it, but Dogen was very famous. He had his Soto school in Japan, and they spent years really practicing these great forms of Buddhism. Okay, Master Singyung instructs, he teaches us here, Buddhism often teaches people to practice Chan. Okay, in reality, Chan is not in the sole domain of Buddhism, for it is in the heart and mind of every person. Since we all have a heart and mind, we should all embody Chan. What is Chan? The following are some definitions. So Master Singyung is going to define Chan for us in what I call the 4 golden keys. So the first golden key he's going to give us to try to enlighten us here about Chan or Zen, just sitting and reflecting, sitting and relaxing. This is the meaning of Zen, Chan. So they sit there very calmly, their minds are enlightened, they focus on the Buddha, or they focus on emptiness, and then they begin to practice from there. You do some yoga, you may begin to take deep breaths, and then you gradually just let your body rest, coming to rest. You let yourself rest, and gradually begin to let all the garbage go, which you've put in your vehicle or your boat. The Buddha warns us that we should empty the boat. Dhammapada 369, the 369th verse of the Dhammapada, the Buddha warns, empty the boat. Empty the boat, folks. Empty. Once your boat is empty, it's going to move what? It's going to move fast. Once it's empty, it's light of burden, it's going to be moving very quickly, right? When you load up your boat and you stress yourself out of the problems of the world, you drown. Once you put too much load in this tiny boat, try to put a whole house on a boat, your boat will sink. So leave the problems of the earth and let your boat, put just 1 or 2 little bags in your boat, and your boat is going to be speedboat. It's going to be kind of really moving fast here. It's going to almost be like a hovercraft. You're going to move flying through the ocean. But if you burden yourself with too much problems and take the problems of the whole world upon yourself, you drown. So the Buddha warns in 369 Dhammapada, verse 369, empty the boat. Once it's empty, it's going to sail light. It's going to sail light for you. When you take out all the problems of the world, hatred and all this attachment and unnecessary desires, you're going to get faster to happiness, to nirvana, to joy and peace, which is our goal, happiness and peace of mind. So I'm going to Master Singyung's golden keys. Moving firewood and carrying water are Chan. Moving firewood and carrying water are Chan. Chan is not the eyes observing the nose and the nose watching the mind. It is not simply about sitting on a cushion or an old monk in deep concentration. Chan is present. Chan is present in daily work, for instance, in moving firewood, carrying water, doing chores, and other services. As we go about our normal life, Chan can almost explain every single situation of life, positive or negative, good or bad. Everything that happens to us in life practically can be resolved by Chan. So that's what Master Singyung is talking about. For instance, moving firewood, carrying water, when you do your job, okay? Once you're mindful of the Buddha, mindful of divinity, you're already, in a sense, practicing Chan. Okay, doing chores and other services, and here and now is Chan. Okay, the here and now is Chan. When we are able to perform every chore with skill and concentration, experience the meaning of work, and cultivate patience within a job, we will have realized Chan. Therefore, in doing a minor chore like moving firewood or carrying water, this is Chan. As you go about your daily business, once your mind focuses on the Buddha, you're already practicing Chan. Of course, mind you, Jesus Christ was Buddha. Buddha means enlightened. So Gautama Siddhartha is the Buddha that the world really knows is most famous Buddha, but he was not the only Buddha. There are so many, there were thousands of Buddha. And I really need people to be mindful that Jesus Christ was Buddha, because Jesus Christ was enlightened, omniscient, all-knowing. Jesus Christ was all-knowing. And all-knowing means, all-knowing is the interpretation of Buddha. So you don't let lingual terms confuse you. You don't get confused with lingual terms. Buddha simply means all-knowing, enlightened. Okay, Jesus Christ was all-knowing. So Jesus Christ was Buddha, all-knowing, just language. Okay, and so on. So these great teachers, professors of learning like Jesus or Buddha, they had these great teachings to try to direct us. Okay, the second golden key from Master Singyu here talks about walking, standing, sitting, and sleeping. These are Chan. Even when you are sleeping, you are practicing Chan. Even when you are sleeping, okay, you are practicing Chan. Walking, standing, sitting, sleeping is all Chan, so long as you are mindful of the Buddha, mindful of Gautama Siddhartha, or mindful of Jesus Christ. These are great professors of infinite learning. Okay? Chan can be found in sitting quietly as well as in action. Okay? There is Chan in sitting and walking meditation, and it is also present while we are eating or sleeping. In our everyday life, we can, when we can calm our mind and focus on the daily activities, be it sitting, walking, or resting, and not be influenced by our surroundings, we will be able to experience Chan. Therefore, putting on clothes or eating a meal is also Chan. Even when you are wearing your clothes, when you are sleeping, when you are in your shower having your bath, when you are at work working, always Chan. Chan is Zen, Zen, Zen. It goes with you all over, you're always, because your mind is always, you're always mindful of the enlightened one, mindful of Jesus, mindful of Buddha. That's Chan. So long as your mind can connect to Jesus, so long as your mind can connect to the Buddha, once your mind is working on these great teachers and their beautiful teachings, that is Chan. Okay? You're already in Chan. You're already in the supreme depth, the supreme degree of wisdom, vastness, greatness of wisdom. Okay? It's just by tuning in, keeping touch, connecting. You see, my television is connected. It's working. Suppose I turn off the light. You are not going to see images. You are not going to see pictures. But there's light and it is connected. And you can see the images behind me. So that's Chan. Chan is connecting. Once you connect to Jesus or you connect to the Buddha, you are practicing Chan. So Chan is connecting, linking up, being mindful of the Buddha. Being mindful. Once you are mindful of the Buddha, you will not be able to err in anything you do. Human beings make mistakes in things that they do because they are not mindful. They are careless. Carelessness is mistakes. I'm careless. I take my mind off Jesus, off his law of love. Then I'm no longer loving because I've taken my mind off from what Jesus requires. The omniscient one, the all-knowing one. I've taken my mind off the Buddha, off Gautama Siddhartha, his requirements, love, even of animals. Then I'm no longer practicing Chan. I've taken my mind off the teachers, off the authorities, off the good teachings. So once you can connect with these omniscient powers, then that is Chan. Okay? It's easy, so easy to understand. Therefore, putting on clothes or eating a meal is Chan, because it's not really the eating of the food or the wearing of the clothes, but the mindfulness. You are mindful of the Buddha, mindful of wisdom. That is Chan, connected. You are in touch with wisdom. That is Chan. You cannot err. At that point, you are perfect. When we are connected with wisdom, when we are in touch and keep touch with wisdom, at that point, we are practicing Chan. There can be no mistakes. It's when you disconnect. We have forgotten that Jesus Christ said we should love. That's where the mistakes start from. We are going to break the law because we've forgotten the law. But if you remember, if you are mindful that Jesus Christ said, love your neighbors as you love yourself, or love your neighbors as I have loved you, then you are now practicing Chan. See, Chan is perfect because you are connected to the source, to the authority. Be it Jesus, be it Buddha, they're just manifestations of divinity. Okay? But the law, the teachings are the same. Love. So once you are connected with the authority, you are connected with the teachings, now you are practicing Chan. So when you practice Chan, it is impossible to err because you are connected with wisdom. Nobody can do anything erroneous in wisdom. It is impossible to err. When you disconnect with wisdom, I'm no longer mindful of wisdom. I'm no longer mindful of the law, then you err at that point. Okay? So it's so easy to. So that's why Buddha said practice meditation. Right? So therefore, putting on clothes or eating a meal is Chan. Of course it is. When we can abide in Chan in our daily living, it will be like the moon outside the window. Okay? But when there is plum blossoms, it will be different. If we have Chan in our lives, the flavor of life will taste different. Folks, I know you noticed I'm in a hurry. I'm in a big hurry because I'm going to work. I'll soon be stepping out for work. The third golden key I'll try to give you, I know I've already explained more than enough. Even the most daft, the most stupid person should have picked a point or two of what I'm saying. And I can even summarize my teachings. The summary of my teachings is mindfulness, concentration and mindfulness. If you concentrate on Jesus or you concentrate on Gautama Siddhartha, these are Buddhas. Both Jesus and Gautama Siddhartha are Buddhas. If your mind is concentrated on Christ, you will not sin. You will not make mistake. Right? If you picture Christ in your intellect, in your mind, you cannot sin. You can't say, oh, I pictured Jesus Christ and I was committing sins. It's impossible. You see? If you picture Jesus Christ, you follow the law, you are mindful of the law. Love your neighbors as you love yourself. You can't do any harm to your neighbor because you're already mindful of the law. So Chan, Zen makes us perfect beings. It makes us Buddhas. It makes us gods. Jesus Christ said, you are gods. John chapter 10, verse 34. Read your Bibles. Okay? So the third key, I'll give you the third key quickly, folks. Expediency and ingenuity are Chan. Chan is not rigid or dull. It is not confined by following old rules. Chan is lively, humorous, and expedient. Every facial expression, look, and gesture of the Chan masters and cultivated practitioners in the past were filled with Chan. Their every word, act, view, and thought embodied the middle path. For them, each blade of grass and tree, and in every grain of sand and clumps of rock, were the mind of Chan, Zen. Okay? Therefore, when we have a mind of Chan, we can see Chan in the world. As I try to explain to you, mindfulness, my friends, and concentration. Okay? We can see Chan in the world, in nature, and all phenomena, for they are full of ingenious wonders. The fourth golden key, accepting adversities willingly, is Chan. When bad things happen to you, you accept it. That's Chan. That's the discipline of Chan. The discipline of improving your character, your mindfulness, your concentration. That is Chan, of course. Okay? Accepting adversities willingly is Chan. You must go positive. Even if bad things happen to us in life, you must approach the bad thing with a negative mind, the negative event with a positive mind. That is Chan. The positiveness, the connection. Anything that befalls you in life, plus, minus, times, divide, whatever it is, positive or negative, okay? Going forward in life, meeting something unexpected, or going backwards, retrogressing, you meet it all the same. Because this world is like King Solomon tells you in the book of Ecclesiastes, right? It's empty. It's like a balloon. It's like a bubble. It's vanity. It's empty. Okay? This is Buddha's Heart Sutra. The Buddha's philosophy and the philosophy of emptiness, King Solomon in the book of Ecclesiastes, identical philosophies. Vanity of vanities. The Heart Sutra, the Buddha said, is empty. There is nothing in the world. It's emptiness. So the only golden key you can have in your hand all the time is your concentration, your mindfulness. And that is Chan. That is Zen. Okay? So that's what the Buddha kept emphasizing. Meditate, my friends. Wake up. Meditate. You human beings with sleeping minds, sleeping gods, ignorant gods. They are gods, as Jesus told everybody in John chapter 10, verse 34. But what kind of gods are these? Ignorant ones. Lazy ones, lazy gods, ignorant gods, sleeping gods. Wake up, wake up. right? So you try to wake up, practice meditation, be active, wake up to activity, wake up to concentration. Mindfulness of wisdom is Chan, okay? So accepting adversities willingly is Chan. In life, we can experience both smooth sailing and setbacks. When we are able to face both successes and obstacles with an unmoving mind or calmness, we have Chan. That's exactly what I try to describe. Your mind is always tied, focused, concentrated on the Buddha. Okay? Be it Gautama Siddhartha or be it Christ. They are Buddhas. They are all-knowing. Buddha means all-knowing. Buddha means omniscient. Just like professor. Professor means teacher, university teacher of the highest rank. Okay, so it's a title, not a name. When we are able to face both successes and obstacles with an unmoving mind or calmness, we have Chan. Are you able to apply the same mind to the hustle and bustle of everyday life? When you can, you know what Chan is. See, your mind, whether hustle and bustle, whether ups and downs, rifts and valleys, going up and down the mountain, up and downs of lives, life goes up and down. Today is success, tomorrow is failure. Today is, victory, tomorrow is defeat. Everything you're going through life, you're on the ups and downs. See how the picture is shaking? The ups and downs. As you pass through the ups and downs of life, my mind is not shaking. You have Chan. It's always Buddha. Wisdom. Omniscient. Okay? So what is Chan? It is cultivation and life. We are summarizing now. When we can experience the joy of Chan and the Dharma in living, we will have found the true cultivation. It is also the practice advocated by humanistic Buddhism. Folks, it's always concentration. It's always mindfulness. The summary of everything I've spoken about for the past half hour, approximately 26 minutes, okay, is to get you folks to begin to practice concentration, practice mindfulness, practice concentration, practice mindfulness, and that is Zen. I'm running to work, folks. I have to go to work today. Almost getting late. So, folks, you enjoy your day. 16th of May, I had a beautiful birthday yesterday. Those of you who went to Facebook, you might have seen some of my clips. I didn't really get much time to do a lot of clipping, but I really had a field day. I had a field day yesterday. I really enjoyed myself to the maximum. It's my birthday. It comes once a year. I put some clippings on Facebook. Folks, Chan is concentration. This world, we are here to work hard, live lives, golden lives. The opportunity of life should be used. Take this opportunity of life and make the best, not the worst, not less. The best, be your best self. I am Christopher Aburime. This is the best Christopher Aburime. I make sure that every blessed day of my life, I do my best. I am at my best. I don't live less than my best. So that's what life is all about. And it comes with wisdom. You have to take wisdom, all wisdom available to you. Take the whole department or faculty of wisdom. Okay? Grab all the wisdom you can grab. Use it to improve yourself and be your best self always. Live your best life always. Seize the opportunity of life and make success. Make the best out of it. Whatever comes, ups and downs, rifts, valleys, mountains, valleys, lows, highs, keep your focus on Christ, on the Buddha, on the enlightened master. And you can never err. We are gods in the chrysalis. Have a pleasant day, folks. Namo Amitofo.